From mobile app developers to mobile network operators, they all gathered at Melrose Arch to participate in this year's Mobile Web Africa conference. The conference was a discussion-based event where critical analysis of the mobile industry was unpacked.
We've got best of the best in terms of across the continent. We've got people like Gustav Preekelt and obviously we have Vodacom sponsoring and also speaking. And across the board, I think we've got a very good range of topic areas, and the speakers are the people who are actually doing it. They're not here talking about theories. They're here sharing their experiences of developing services and products and giving their opinion as well, because we have lots of discussion and interaction, and that's fundamental to this.
We caught up with some of the speakers to discuss their topics. During Gustav Preetelt's presentation, he stated that access and complexity are two major barriers that hinder progress in the mobile world, especially in the African context.
I think the greatest challenge really at the moment is not the fact that which devices we've got, whether we have enough devices in market, but really the cost of access. So how much does it cost each of the users that we're trying to reach with life-saving information to access that information? So specifically the cost of SMS and the cost of data for users to gain access to that data. And then I think the second real challenge is for developers is the complexity in developing services across Africa. We have more than 160 network operators. We have highly technical, complex systems to integrate with. And then most importantly, it's really complex to build billing systems and to actually transact across the African continent as well, which really, if you take that all together, is significant challenges in building systems that can scale in Africa.
Brian Seligman from Hawaii Technologies believes that innovation, coupled with a business model for the African continent, can be a solution.
My burning question or burning issue is around access. It's become a real buzzword in Africa, which is we need spectrum, we need this, we need that, we need the other. And the answer is yes, we absolutely need all of those. But what we also need is a business model that works, given the requirements of this continent and given the economics of this continent. You cannot simply take something that worked elsewhere in the world, stick it in a box, turn the power switch on somewhere in Africa, and hope that it's going to work. We need to look at innovation that is relative to what the people and what the economics of this continent need, and we can't just carry on deploying new technologies because of the fact that the rest of the world is doing it. One of my subjects that I go on about is LTE. There is absolutely a technical and a business case for LTE in Africa, but it doesn't exist around providing 100 megabits per second at 20 odd milliseconds of latency to one user at enormous cost per megabyte. We've got to look at ways of making that technology work so that it's more than just a marketing technology. I've got to do it because my competitors got it, or because I've heard my competitor might do it first, and turn it into something that actually looks at upliftment and enrichment within an African context.
Although the statistics show mobile penetration in Africa at 65%, illiteracy still poses a problem as the majority of mobile users are not literate enough to use these devices.
The exciting thing is to try this problem that we have a lot of smart devices out there, and even with feature phones, which basically have the capability of connecting to the internet, but we still have the majority of our users are not that internet literate. So one of the things that I'm very, very passionate about is to ensure that we close that gap. And how do we close that gap? I strongly believe that we close that gap by coming up with very, very simple but applications that have the maximum impact, that will talk to the bottom of the pyramid, and the guys will connect to the internet without them knowing that they're actually connected to the internet. Because we are in the information age, we all need everyone to participate in the information age.
Exorbitant pricing of data also poses a challenge to consumers as it limits access to mobile applications.
If you look at services such as Facebook Zero and the new free zone that Google has launched, which allows people to get data for free, and you look at the consumption patterns and how much people are using services when the data is free, you can see what a great impact that has. Another great example is two services. One is Young Africa Live, which we launched 2 years ago, now has over 1.5 million users in South Africa, completely free to the end user to use. And the other one is Wikipedia Zero, which is a service that makes it possible for anybody with a mobile phone to access Wikipedia, the world's largest encyclopedia, to access that information for free. And once you lower that barrier to access and you make it free for end users to be able to access those services, you see a massive spike in consumption.
As the majority of people are going the mobile route in Africa, it remains critical to minimize the barriers to access.